A predator with no pattern. A killer who traveled across the country, leaving no trace, except for the victims he buried in shallow graves. Israel Keyes wasn't just any serial killer. He was meticulous, methodical, and terrifyingly unpredictable. He didn't have a victim type. He didn't hunt in one place. He planned years in advance and hid his kill kits across multiple states. But in the end, it wasn't his crimes that caught him. It was his arrogance. This is the story of Israel Keyes, one of the most chilling serial killers in modern history. Born in 1978, Israel Keyes grew up in a strict, isolated religious household in Utah. His family lived off the grid, away from society, and followed extreme beliefs. They moved frequently, living in remote areas of Washington and Oregon, where Keyes and his many siblings were homeschooled. As a child, he was denied modern conveniences, rarely interacted with outsiders, and was raised in an environment that encouraged extreme self-reliance. From an early age, Keyes showed disturbing tendencies, torturing animals, stealing, and expressing a fascination with death. He hunted animals, not for food, but for sport, and he later admitted that he felt no remorse. As a teenager, he realized something about himself. He had no guilt, no remorse, and he was different from everyone around him. By the time he reached adulthood, he had already planned his first violent crime. Unlike most serial killers who act impulsively, Israel Keyes was a planner. He would fly to a city, rent a car, and drive thousands of miles, sometimes across multiple states, just to kill someone at random. He buried kill kits long before he ever chose his victims, buckets filled with guns, zip ties, duct tape, shovels, cash, and chemicals for body disposal. These kits were hidden in places like Alaska, Vermont, Texas, and New York, sometimes sitting undisturbed for years before he returned to use them. Keyes was patient. He had a process. He would select locations before he selected victims. He preferred small towns and isolated areas, knowing that police departments in these places lacked the resources to track him. He would stake out potential victims, sometimes watching them for days before striking. His ability to blend into everyday life made him even more dangerous. No one suspected the quiet man sitting in the next car at a parking lot, or the customer who stopped by for gas before driving off into the night. He traveled across the country, sometimes for weeks at a time, and killed without any connection to his victims. He used prepaid cell phones, withdrew cash in advance to avoid digital tracking, and even used disguises to obscure his appearance. The FBI would later describe him as one of the most meticulous and organized serial killers in modern history. Keyes was careful until he made one fatal mistake. On February 1, 2012, he abducted 18-year-old Samantha Koenig, a barista working at a small coffee stand in Anchorage, Alaska. He had carefully planned the kidnapping, waiting for a night when Samantha was alone. Security footage showed him ordering coffee before pulling a gun and forcing her out of the stand and into his truck. But what investigators later uncovered was even more horrifying than the abduction itself. Keyes had been stalking potential victims in the area for weeks, searching for the right opportunity. When he entered the coffee stand that night, he had already made up his mind. He asked Samantha for an Americano, then pulled a gun and ordered her to turn off the shop's lights. He forced her to the ground, tied her hands behind her back with zip ties, and led her outside to his white pickup truck. As they walked toward the vehicle, Samantha saw a chance to escape. She broke free for a moment, but Keyes tackled her to the ground, pressing the gun to her ribs as he warned her to stay quiet. He drove her to his house, a small home he shared with his girlfriend and daughter. Knowing his family was inside, he took Samantha to an unheated shed in the backyard. He tied her up, gagged her, and told her that if she cooperated, she would be released unharmed. He then left her there in the freezing cold while he went inside, poured himself a glass of wine, and casually spent the rest of the evening with his family. Later that night, he returned to the shed where he sexually assaulted Samantha before strangling her to death. Keyes then left town the next day for a 2-week Caribbean cruise with his girlfriend. Before leaving, he placed Samantha's body in a corner of the shed and covered her with a tarp, knowing that the frigid Alaskan temperatures would preserve her remains until he returned. When he got back, he came up with a plan to demand ransom money. He sewed Samantha's eyes open with fishing line, positioned her body to make it look like she was still alive, and took a ransom photo using a Polaroid camera. He placed a newspaper dated February 13th next to her body, making it appear as though she was still alive weeks after her disappearance. Then, using Samantha's phone, he sent the ransom demand to her family, instructing them to deposit money into her bank account. To withdraw the ransom money, Keyes used Samantha's debit card at ATMs across multiple states, wearing a disguise to avoid detection. But this was his undoing. Police tracked the withdrawals and identified his rented vehicle, leading to his arrest in Lufkin, Texas, on March 13, 2012. On March 13, 2012, Keyes was finally arrested in Lufkin, Texas. Police found Samantha's ATM card, her phone, and a mask in his car. When questioned, he played games with investigators, admitting to less than a dozen murders, but refusing to give specifics. He spoke about bodies buried in New York, Washington, and Vermont, but never provided enough details for authorities to locate all his victims. Keyes revealed that he never killed in the same place twice. He would travel across the country to throw off investigators. He admitted to murdering a couple in Vermont, a victim in New York, and possibly others in states like Oregon and Texas, but never disclosed all their names or locations. Authorities believed he was responsible for at least 11 murders, but they suspected the number was much higher. Kill kits continued to surface long after his arrest, hidden in remote locations containing the tools of his brutal trade. Despite his confessions, Keyes refused to give investigators a full list of his victims. He taunted them, saying, "You don't know everything, and you never will." On December 2nd, 2012, before he could stand trial, Israel Keyes took his own life in his jail cell, leaving behind a chilling suicide note, but no real answers. To this day, authorities believe there are more victims. Kill kits are still out there, buried beneath the soil, waiting to be discovered. And the full story of Israel Keyes, the names of those he killed, the places he stalked, may never truly be known. His crimes, planned years in advance, remain some of the most chilling and enigmatic in true crime history. Israel Keyes was the nightmare we rarely hear about, a serial killer without a pattern, a phantom who blended into everyday life. He could have been standing next to you at the airport, at a gas station, or in a coffee shop, and you never would have known. What do you think? Could there still be undiscovered victims out there? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this story chilling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true crime stories.